What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and we are on the test server, and we're looking today at the Voltaic RPG8s. Now, I was not fortunate enough to get these on my main account, not even on my alt accounts, and I did try, so I'm glad we're able to get it on the test server, even though it's a little bit after the event came out. But what a lot of people have already probably said about this that have gotten it is these are a little lackluster, and I would tend to agree overall. You know, it has this perk where it does this shock effect, which is the same as the arc torrent thing, which is nice, but it's pretty minor. Its overall stats are not bad. It's certainly a little better in the damage output, like damage per magazine, damage per shot, than the RPG6, which is probably its closest cousin to compare to. We'll go over to that. And we'll probably flop back and forth between the two. But what you'll notice here is that, yeah, the damage per magazine per shot is a few thousand less there overall, but the fire rate on this is twice as much. It's twice as fast as that on the Voltaic RPG8, and the magazine is one more, and the reload speed is higher, but you know, it's kind of compensated for because you're going to be firing more with the RPG or the Voltaic RPG just because the fire rate is slower. These will shoot faster and then take a little longer to reload. It's almost like when you compare this to the Mech 8, whereas that has a much longer reload time than an RPG6, but that's really only because it is ejecting all its missiles out faster. And the same kind of thing with the RPG6. It's way faster than this, twice as fast. This also only has 6 missiles, so even though its damage per shot is higher, its overall damage magazine is higher. You know, there's just less missiles that it shoots out. So I don't know. I mean, it also has lower optimal range and a lower max range, I believe. What was that? What was the max range on this? Yeah, the max range on this is a little bit higher, and obviously 0 to 105 meters. It has a better optimal range. This has a damage fall off, as we know. I mean, the negative sides to this of the longer, the slower fire rate, the longer, the shorter distance that it has for the target. I don't know if it outweighs what you're getting here. The only thing I will say that is kind of a standout for this is the exact damage radius boost that you get. I did kind of mention this before. It's lower at first, but then when you get to 5-star, it is more significant. I did actually try this initially because we got it at 1-star. I tried it at 1-star. It was pretty terrible. I then tried it at 3 and 4-star. It was a little better, but 3 is like its natural, and then 4 is what all of the other enemies on the test server are at, so I was trying to do it there. Did underperform for me. When I got it to 5-star, it was a little bit better, and that exact damage radius is nice. If you actually compare this to the same energy cousin, which would be the Mech 8, the Mech 8 does more damage per shot and then per clip, and obviously its fire rate is better. So much about this is way better, of course, but the exact damage radius on this is lower. What is interesting is if the Voltaic RPG did have exact damage radius as one of its implants, that would be nice, but it does not. I think that would help this weapon shine because it has much of a, you know, boosted radius for it. Then it would be something that's a little bit nicer, but if these are going to have higher levels, maybe that's a little bit too OP. So I don't know what their thinking was there, but overall, I mean, this weapon I've been kind of underwhelmed, but we're going to jump into a match just so we can see it perform, and we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I was kind of surprised at the trade-off on this weapon. I feel like the added little shock benefit that you get is so minor, and just being a higher energy set isn't enough to justify the way this plays out. So, I don't know. We're getting all AI, which makes sense, because we're on the test server. I did actually run into Foggy when I was playing. And I only had Shadow in my hanger, so I died pretty quickly. I didn't have anything else to put out, so it was over very fast for me. So he was just playing against my AI after that. It is what it is. All right, let's get some shots in here so I can hit the Shadow. That did some good damage to his back when he wasn't facing me. See that? It didn't even hit in the exact damage radius, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought it would. Oh man, that was bad. See, it seems harder for me to aim this too. Like, it's doable, but it's weird. Here we go, we got a couple guys. But we're behind right now. A little bit, not by much, but a little bit, because they got center. Good, got that guy. I probably didn't need to use my my stealth ability right there, but I did anyway. See, now look at that right there. When I was at 100 meters, I know I wouldn't have been able to hit that guy. It's crazy that I have to close the gap to me. Like, that just seems like it's not... It shouldn't have to be necessary, but it is because of the way this works. But, oh well. Alright, that's 5. Not doing too bad, but I think that guy's an arc, so I can shoot him from back here and he won't be able to get to me. There we go. Nice. Alright, let's reload. I do appreciate that the reload is faster on this, but I mean, I'm using Shadow, so I can stay out a little bit longer, but typically with most guys, you're going to have to play peekaboo with every shot. Like, I'd have to duck, shoot once, and then go back because the fire rate is so slow. That to me is a big issue. Like, I think the fire rate being so slow is really bad. Like, I'm surprised that that's considered the way they wanted this design to go. I don't know, I just don't get that. It seems like a really poor choice, that's all. Oh, I'm surprised I didn't get that kill. Must have just been too far. Okay. It does do decent damage. I mean, I've been happy with some of the shots, like getting some pretty solid damage in. There's a shadow right there. There he is. Like, even when I don't hit, I'm still getting around them with that extra damage radius. The Missile Rack 8s, like I was saying before, has a legendary damage radius boost. I feel like if this one had like an epic one or something, that would be viable without being like insanely OP. So I think I really think they should entertain that, because if you got a slow fire rate where you can control how the fire rate goes, it will be way better if you could benefit from that fire rate of getting that kind of stuff going. Oh no, we got stuff shooting at me. Let's see if we can take this. I just want to stay alive. Stop shooting me. Stop doing your job and shooting me. I would much prefer if you don't kill me. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You saved my butt. All right. Let's move up here. Try to take out what's left. I love the way this weapon sounds. I just wish that it shot faster. The sound of this weapon is cool, though. All right, not bad. Like I said, though, the issue is, I mean, I'm in the shadow, so the AI is not going to focus on me too much when I go into stealth mode, so I can be a little bit more flexible in my movement. But yeah, if you're in a situation where you're using something else, and you probably use other light mechs, you're going to be exposing yourself way more. And that was always my issue with when I did RPG versus like missile racks. I think I did a video on that a while ago. Even though it's harder to control the fire rate of the missile racks because you don't have as much exposure time, you have better survivability, you can do better with it. This one, you're going to have to probably take a shot or two and then poke back or get behind cover again instead of trying to use all of your shots just because the fire rate is so slow. Like, that to me is a big issue. It just means you're going to expose yourself more to get in just a tiny bit of extra damage. I think the thought process was because you're going to be messing up your enemy's targeting, you can afford to be out in the open more. But if the blast radius isn't good enough and if the effect isn't strong enough, and I don't think it is, it's difficult. They also said, like, you know, it's kind of in one of their things, they don't say it on here, they said that it could be good against snipers in that sense. But because the max range is only 90 meters, that's not really, like, true, I think, against snipers. I don't know. This is one of those weapons too. I wonder if once they have the regular event crate rush that was going on, then they start doing the pocket change paid offers of like $9 to $10 or less while specialization spree goes on, if they're going to then just boost the damage up like they did with shotguns and the long arms. Like, if they're going to say, hey, let's boost the damage 25, 30, or 50%, then sell it and do this event just to boost sales. So maybe they purposely made them a little bit less damaging or underperforming in the thought that they were going to boost them later. I have no idea, but it does make me wonder. But I don't know. I mean, overall, I think this is not one of those weapons you need to get. Certainly not all that important yet. We don't really know how the bigger versions are going to be. Maybe those will be viable, but in this current state, I don't think anyone needs to get this weapon right now. Certainly not paying for it. I don't think it's necessary, but that's just my thoughts on it. If you have it or you have certain things that you like it for or it works really well for, please let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield.